शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Which verse? Verse what?
7 to 10.
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभते अर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते। नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः। यज्ञात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः। तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर। सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यत्वम् एषवोऽस्त्विष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ।
Thank you. Very good. So, Bhagwan is saying that karmas, to prevent them from becoming a bondage, rephrasing my sentence, karmas by themselves do not create bondage, but karmas performed with ahankar, phala ichha, centered on oneself, such karmas bind oneself to its respective phal, that is to come out of karma anyway. Shastra Vidya is required because Shastra shows us the technique, the subtle methodology. It educates us, teaches us. The methodology with which one's performance of karma need not bind oneself to the fruits. Because binding oneself to the fruit means dehadharan. Dehadharan means finding yourself with a sharir. You own a sharir. You accept a physical body. And once a physical body is accepted, the transaction with the physical aspect of the world is where the individual catches himself in. I'll repeat this. Once you have a sharir, you find yourself with a body. Here afterwards, the indweller who is to enjoy the fruits of the actions, previous actions, फल को भोगने के कारण ये शरीर मिला है, पाया है. So once that sthiti has come, that you have a sharir, then sharir and the physical world will have a coexistence. Physical body will have a coexistence with the physical world. So when you find yourself owning up a sharir as me, then you are placing yourself in interaction with the world, the physical world. This is where further the ahankar, the bhogi who had to enjoy their fruits of actions, further finds limited, further finds himself, herself conditioned to what the body is and where you find your physical surroundings, where you have a phal bhog. So that limits you further, kind of catches up as a cycle. So Shastra shows us how you should not, having found yourself a body, going through the phalam that the sharir has brought to you, what is that method with which you can utilize this body? You can gain a complete freedom in coming times. Means the purusharth in the present can be in such a way that all karmas that get generated by the sharir, by the individual, sharir doesn't generate the karma, but through the help of the sharir, when a karma is generated, this karma will not touch you. So that sthiti, that avastha with which you find yourself relatively overcoming the limitations, the helplessness, the condition that your sharir had brought in your knowledge of your own self. What is that limitation? Supposing you are 5 feet something, 6 feet something. Your limitation, your identity, you think is I am 5 feet something, 6 feet something, etc. So the qualities, the attributes, the nature of the body, which is coexisting with the world, those attributes you condition yourself with. So, what is the method with which you become free of it? So, eighth verse, Bhagwan started by saying, he says, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. always you should be doing what is niyatam. What is niyat? Niyat as in not the Hindi niyat as an intention, but niyatam as in nityam. Niyatam as in nityam. What is nityam? Shastra upadishtam. What has been said in the Shastra. And what did Shastra say as upadishtam? It said Shruti and Smriti karmas. Shrauta smarta cha nityam iti prasiddham. Shruti, Smriti, Nityam, Prasiddham. What are Shruti karmas? Your Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, which are in the form of obligatory duties according to your Varna and Ashrama. And repeating myself, Varna and Ashrama, even if it is lost in society, your characteristics are already showing the Varna and Ashrama. Every human being has characteristics which are falling in one of the four varnas and four ashramas. You need not label it, but you can identify it, and those will help one to understand what are the nitya karmas that have been said. What are the smriti karmas? The smriti karmas are the karmas that are general social welfare karmas. And also now, very soon, Bhagwan is going to introduce us to Pancha Mahayajnas, the five-fold karmas that ought to be done even when you don't have knowledge of Shruti karma. So when you don't have what is Shruti karma and you don't abide in Shruti karma, then at least stick to Smriti karma, which is in the form of Panch Mahayajna. We'll talk about it as the context arises. So, niyatam kuru karmaha tvam. Continuously, always in your life, what is to be the focus? What is to be the choosing factor? Is to be what is my obligatory duty according to what the Shastra expects from me. And having said this in the past, that obligatory duty, performance of it is the means to initially loosen up this tadatmyam, this identification with the sharir, which in turn is identified with the world. So to bring about a, in modern language, breakup, have a breakup. Let's break up. Break up what? Let's break up this association that the body has with the world and I have with the body. Let's break it up. So how do you break it up? He says slowly. If your focus remains while you are identified in the body, your focus remains on doing what you ought to be doing, very slowly you will break up the association. The reason he gives only as a fundamental reason first in the 8th verse. Why? Because if you do not do what you should be doing, there are two things that you will land up doing. One is, common sense also tells us, one is that I will land up doing what I should not be doing. What is not Shastra Upadishtam. If I don't do what is Shastra Upadishtam, I will do what is not Shastra Upadishtam. Means when Shastra says, don't do this, or Shastra's not expecting me to do, I should not be doing it. So not doing it is what I will do. Or the other one is, I will simply just postpone doing what I should do. And ultimately, I may not do. After some postponement, we all know the nature of postponement. Very often times when we postpone what we should be doing, we find ourselves not inclined to do it after some time. You don't find yourself motivated to continue to do what you should be doing. So we slip into inaction, akarmanaha, akarma. So Krishna says here, doing what you should do, you have to do what you have to do, is better than not doing anything. Another reason he gives for not doing anything is because Sharira Yatra api, even your Sharira Yatra will not be culminating. Prasiddhihi, it will not get. Akarmanaha, prasiddhyet, means you will not reach the culmination, the success point of your Sharir Yatra. What is the success point? Means accomplishment of your Deha, Prapti. You will not reach it. So Sharir Yatra was two ways in which Acharyas have said. One is simple, normal, common sense, we touched upon last time. Even the physical body needs minimum level of activity, exercises, etc. Otherwise, disease and decay starts setting in faster and quicker. So, so even to maintain the body, you need to act. And the second Sharir Yatra is that you will continue to take janma after janma, you will continue to have body after body, find yourself with a body from avidya to vidya, atma vidya. From atma avidya to atma vidya is sharir yatra. In between, how many shariras gets changed? We saw in the previous verse, as we change clothes, so many shariras can be changed, so many bodies we will change. Just as a man changes clothes and puts on new ones. But this culmination means from birth up to the point of death within this body, the maintenance of this body also needs action. And the fact that there is avidya, which is the root cause of all my karma, kartritvam, etc., that also culminating it to Atma Vidya, that journey, Sharira Yatra, that I should undertake in the body as one takes a pilgrimage, using this body as a gift given, an opportunity to go to the other end of accomplishing it. So he says, Sharira Yatra Pichate na prasiddhyeda akarmanaha. Now, in the ninth verse, he said, which we started last time, I think, Yajnarthat karmanaha anyatra. Shankara had said, if you think that karma gives me bondage, and so I should avoid doing anything, yat cha manyase, you think, bandha arthatvat means the cause of bandha artha, karma. Karma is the cause of bandha. Na kartavyamiti, therefore I will not do any karma. Tat asat. Tat api asat. That is also false. How? He's telling us performance of karma is to be engaged in. How should you do that? That it will not be a cause of bandhan, for which the ninth verse has started. Yajnarthat. Yeah, we did this last class. For the sake of yajna. And yajna means what? In the initial stage, Shankara has given us, other acharyas have taken it from here, continued, because it's the thought that is explaining away what is yajna. Yajna by Vishnu. It is a name of Vishnu. By what does it mean by saying it is a name of Vishnu? Yajnaha means Ishvaraha. Yajna means Ishwar. Name of Vishnu means it's Ishwar. So what should you do? Tat artham yat kriyate. Whatever you do for the sake of Ishvara, karmas that are tat artham, Ishvara artham, for the sake of Ishwar. Yat kriyate, what is done? Tat, that karma is called yajnartham, for the sake of yajna. Now, what is yajna? This is a word which is going to have a continuity till fourth chapter. So I want to elaborate, open up the word first before we completely understand, for us to simply understand, rather quickly understand in every context when the word yajna will come, for the sake of yajna, because here Bhagwan is saying the karmas that are done for the sake of yajna, which means for the sake of Ishvara, those karmas, when not done as yajna, I'll repeat, karmas that are not done as yajna, repeating again because of emphasis, whatever karmas are not done as yajna, whatever karma is not done as yajna, here, lokaha, in this world, whoever is an adhikari for karma, in the world of those, these all other karmas that are not done for the sake of yajna, karma bandhanaha, they bind you, they bind you. Those karmas bind you. Tatartham, therefore, O Kaunteya, for the sake of yajna, samachara, nirvartaya, live, act for the sake of yajna. What is that? Mukta sangaha, karma phala sanga varjitaha, freed from the attachment to phala. कर्मों का फलों से वियोग कर लो, break them, break up, separate them, and then act. Such karmas will not bind you. And this is like giving a lottery to someone. The ones who are afflicted by samsar and understand that they're afflicted by samsar, and the ones who are looking for a solution, what is the answer to this samsara gati? For them, this is a lottery. Something has uh, opened up. What is it? The knowledge acquired, which will give me an opportunity to modify the way I act, the way I generate karma. And that is going to, in turn, free me completely. That is yajna. Just touching upon the next verse because they are connected together. Saha yajnaha prajaha srishtva. He said this, having created this srishti, prajapatihi uvacha, he said, Pura means in the beginning of creation. In the beginning of creation, Prajapati, Brahmaji, he said, he created the Srishti along with Saha Yagnya, Yagnya Sahitaha, along with Yagnya. Srishti is created along with Yagnya. There's a lot of unfoldment here, so have a little patience and listen openly with the mind open. When the Creator created, He created with Yagnya. And what did He say? Uvacha, He said to all the beings hereforth, Anena prasavishyatvam esha vaha swishta kamaduk vaha tu ishta kamaduk. This karma, yajna, let it be a fulfilling, desire fulfilling method for you. Yajna will fulfill method, is a fulfilling method to fulfill your desires. What is that lottery? Perform your actions as yajna, and what have you got in returns? Your desires will be fulfilled. Like what? Like kamadhuk, whatever desire, kamadhenu, whatever desire you have. Any desire can be fulfilled by yajna. Connecting these two now. What is yajna? What does one understand of yajna? In normal terms, first. Anyone wants to?
Like a havan when you offer offerings to the fire god.
Correct. What is the essence? Say it's a havan. Yajna is a fire invoking ritual. You invoke a fire. If you just invoke a fire, it's like campfire. Supposing those who go for camping and they have campfires. Is campfire a yajna? It is also a fire.
No, it doesn't have Ishwar. It doesn't have Ishwar. And it doesn't have Ishwar.
Is it just that it doesn't have Ishwar, or what makes it a yajna? What is the first conversation? You are right, that is correct. That's the second
Intent.
part. Okay,
Intent.
intent. So what about the intent? Just focus on the havan, the ritual.
Yeah.
Imagine in your mind that there is a yajna going on, has been initiated by some pandits. Okay, surrendering yourself to the higher.
You're evoking the higher.
All right, invoking the higher. What is being done first and foremost when you have lit up a fire, which is supposed to mean surrender of ego? All these are perfect, but
आहुति देते हैं
आहुति देते हैं,
Purify.
आहुति देते हैं, आहुति देते हैं, offering, आहुति देते हैं. When you have invoked a fire, even on say a lori, if you're having a lori, you have a campfire. Why is it not yajna? Because आप उसमें आहुति नहीं दे रहे. What is an आहुति? आप बताइए.
Offerings.
Offering. Offering, same thing. Ahuti, it's a technical Vedic term. हवन में डालना है, सामग्री जो डालते हो. Ahuti is related to the fire ritual, therefore it is correct. Therefore it is ahuti is a technical term, but आप offer कर रहे हो means you are, what is the word you just used? नीतू जी?
Offering.
Offering, yes.
Offering.
Offering, okay. Pardon me, everybody, today I may be a little...
Ahuti, RKG said Ahuti.
So the minute you offer, that's the first ingredient that is going to separate the fire, the yajna, from any other campfire, from any other fire. There is something that is going to be put in. आप कुछ दोगे. This in Hindi is more conveyable. You are going to give something in the fire. उसको आहुति कहते हैं. आहुति कहते किसको हैं? कोई सामग्री है. There is some ingredient, there is material which from your side you are going to offer in the fire. So what is the first aspect of yajna? You have to catch this. Not just intellectually. Catch this. Yajna hoga kab? Pehli baat
When
kab?
you're able to give up something, you're giving
Excellent.
up something, surrendering.
Absolutely.
Surrendering.
You are giving it up. Now that giving it up, at this point, we need not call it surrender. But at this stage, there is something you are going to give up. जो आपके पास है, आप उसको देने की तैयारी कर रहे हो. Just focus on the physical part first. All these attitudes will come afterwards. That is what will make it yoga. Physical ritual, which is in English called sacrifice, sacrificial ritual. Why is it called a sacrifice? Because there is an element of tyag. There is tyag there. आपकी कोई सामग्री है, उस सामग्री को आप आहुति करके उस अग्नि में डाल रहे हैं. जब आप अग्नि में सिर्फ डाल रहे हो, वो तो हम लोरी में भी डाल रहे हैं, सपोजिंग, या कैंप फायर में डालते हैं. वी जस्ट कीप पुटिंग स्टफ इन इट. इज दैट सिर्फ डाल देना विल इट मेक इट त्याग? उसमें भी तो कर ही रहे हैं. वी आर ऑल पुटिंग, व्हेन वी गो फॉर अ कैंप फायर, वी ऐड इंग्रेडिएंट्स इनटू इट. इज दैट त्याग? Where have you offered it?
You have invoked first and then offered.
Very good. In that fire, before you offered, you invoked. What did you invoke? You purified the fire. You visualized something on the fire. You visualized not something. You visualized the deity for whomever this sacrifice is done for whomever this ritual is done for, whoever is the object of your action. When in the world, on your occasions of all these laukik vyavharik occasions, when you give a gift to someone, your gift from your side, you are giving to someone. There is an object of your offering. किसी को तो दे रहे हो ना. देने वाले में लेने वाला भी तो होना चाहिए. अगर लेने वाला नहीं है तो आप कुछ भी देते रहो, it is not complete. It doesn't complete itself. आप अपनी तरफ से दे रहे हो, बट लेने वाला नहीं है. So जब कोई लेने वाला नहीं है, the action doesn't get completed. For an action to complete, there should be a recipient of it. Who is the recipient of that yajna? Yajnas, the invoking deities on whoever is the deity. It could any of our deities. That is getting invoked. That is invoked first on fire. उस फायर जो इन्वोक हो गया है, in your, now you understand that here resides this deity who is receiving your offering. That offering is the ingredient of yajna, important ingredient. Means I am performing a karma. Who is the recipient of that karma? If I'm clear in my mind, who, for whose sake is this karma getting generated? Who will be the receiver of this karma? Where is it centered? As in the ritual of fire, your attention is on the deity there. Why? There is going to be a portion here as we go on. This deity has the power. He has the capacity. He, she has the capacity. They are deities. They are Bhagwans. They have the power to fulfill.
Give the results.
Give the results. Give the results. Fulfill back whatever your karma has generated. So as your karmas have to give a result. Those results, the receiver has the power in that sense to correspond a result back. They can fulfill. Fulfill is a word here. They can bless you. They can shower the anugraha to manifest the karma phal. जो भी उस कर्म का फल बनना है. Bhagwan is not going to add a karma there. Be very clear here. Bhagwan is not, the deity is not going to generate a karma for your sake. All that's going to happen is, according to your karma, the deity can bless you with the result. As you need, when you need, for whatever sake. In fact, why are you doing that karma? For whatever reason you do. Now here Bhagwan is saying, Yajnarthat karmanaha. When you do this karma as a yajna, as an offering, and in the offering, remember what is the element necessary. When we say it is arpanam, आहुति हम देते हैं, focus on that देते हैं, हम आहुति दे रहे हैं. That is the karma which has an ingredient of giving up. And that giving up is called tyag. You are ready to give up. What are you giving up? Now here you can have many things. As we have said, all of you have said, when I'm performing that karma, I can give up my ahankar. I can give up my phal ichha. I can, the two ingredients that make up the karma is ego and ichha, kartritvam and phala ichha. I can give up both of them and do the karma. Do you see the difference that will come? On one hand, I'll do a karma. And that karma, say I'm doing a shruti karma. What is a shruti karma? Agnihotram juhiyat swargakamaha. This is, all shruti karmas can be divided into two. Kamya karma and nitya karma. Nishkama karma. Kamya karma means what? Any shruti karma which has the result embedded in the mandate, उसी को काम्य कर्मा कहते हैं. For example, Agnihotram juhiyat. Do Agnihotram. For what? Swarga kamaha. This is like a sutra. It is complete in itself. The phal of this karma is embedded in the karma. अगर इस कर्म को ये करोगे तो स्वर्ग की कामना पूरी होगी. Udbhita yajeta pashu kamaha. If you desire pashu, then do this yajna. Udbhita yajna, etc. So all karmas, Shruti karmas, nitya karma, can be karmas that are for the sake of, okay, that comes in 11th verse, for the sake of fulfilling yourself or for the sake of just doing it. Karma phala sanga varjitaha. Now, when you are doing, supposing a karma, Agnihotra, Juhyat, for the sake of Swarga, you will get Swarga. But supposing you take out the Swarga Kamaha, I don't have Kamna for Swargam. Excuse me. When I don't have Kamna for Swargam, कर्म तो आप किसी के लिए इनिशिएट किया ना, you are doing a karma for what reason then? Let that phal be distributed in the world for the sake of loka, lok sangraha. I am doing a karma, but for the benefit of the loka, for the world. Now, what has happened? Who's received the karma? There, the deity. But you didn't ask anything for yourself. So, what will happen? The method is, the secret is, the technique is, whatever phal was embedded in the karma, you detached yourself and performed the karma, that phal was anyway embedded. Incidentally, you will get that also. आपकी वो इच्छा भी पूरी हो जाएगी. कैसे हुई? By working for it, you will get it. Swarga kamaha, you have, work for it, you get swarga. फल पूरा हुआ, मिल गया. बट अगर आपने स्वर्ग काम फल से वर्जित होके कर्म किया, अग्निहोत्र एक्सेट्रा, but you gave up the phal. When you gave up the phal for it, I'm trying to remember. When you give up the phal for it, what will happen automatically? The phal that was embedded in that karma will anyway come to you. But you didn't work for it. But your desire is fulfilled. Not that there is any more desire on your end, but when it says your desire is fulfilled, whatever you initiated the karma, in that karma, whatever was to be given as a phalam, there will be a, I think the word they use is agantikam. Avantaram means incidentally, byproduct. I use the word byproduct. As a byproduct, your desires will keep getting fulfilled. Kaise? Bhagwan says in 9th and 10th verse, the secret is karam karo, phal ko tyag do. Phal tyag is one tyag. Tyag hai. What is it that you are ready to give up? What are you going to give up? That is, element has to be there in that karma for it to become a kamaduk. fulfiller of your desire. It is a fulfiller of desire. And who's promising it? This is a Moolam verse, Krishna's words. Purovacha Prajapatihi. Bhagwan himself is saying this. जब मैंने सृष्टि बनाई ये, तो मैंने इसको यज्ञ के साथ ही बनाई है, which means whoever thinks that if I don't work for result, I will be deprived. I will not get happiness. How will I, even if you tell me, how can I practice yajna? How do I know how to do it? Bhagwan says, you don't have to learn. I have already planted it in you. I have already gifted it to you. In creation, this is a capacity that every living being has. Tyag, giving up something of your attachment to whatever you have. That capacity to give up is what is, later on he's going to tell us, is actually what makes creation, along with the capacity to give an offering. That I have already planted in everybody. Sabke andar hai. Just as you have your available indriyas as a gift to you, ज्ञान इंद्रिया है, कर्म इंद्रिया है, शरीर की अपनी उपाधि के अपने 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 बेनिफिट्स है. We have ananta karanam, we have viveka shakti. This is a benefit of a human upadhi. So too, as a living being, and all living beings have it, not just human beings. All living beings have it. That's why he uses the word prajaha. Shankara has not given a meaning. All beings. All beings, and you see this in life, in all other forms of life, in all other means of life, you recognize it faster. But human being somehow does not express it easily. We know the reasons. How?
Because we are selfish.
And what is the reason for that selfishness?
You want to acquire everything for your own self.
Why do you want to acquire? Agyan. Why is
Association with senses.
Senses.
Association with senses.
Association with senses, absolutely. And what is the fundamental reason why we are so instantly associated with all this? And agyan ka karan kya hai? What is the feeling that one has?
शरीर के साथ बनते रहे
Sharir.
Insecurity and fear.
Insecurity and fear for the sake of happiness.
Desires.
The feeling, desires, why are they there? Because the feeling that I am not Purnam, I'm incomplete, that generates more and more desires. And that apurnata ka feeling, is it real or not? That Jnana Yoga helps us understand, which Shankara did, Krishna did in the second chapter, first few verses of Atma Prakaranam. But because now that momentum of feeling of lack is so powerful, that we are only knowing how to act for our sake. So how will you put yourself into giving up something in your karma? Now, there's a question, can you give examples of sacrifice in everyday life? At this point, I want you to first think. We should be taking this up in a lot of details coming times. But first, you think, where is this all? Where can this get applicable? If the concept is clear and you start thinking, you will start figuring it out. What is the main important point? I have a fire invoked means there is a receiver of the fire. I have to visualize that. ये कर्म किसके लिए हो रहा है? कौन है जो इस कर्म का कर्म मेरे कर्म करने का अंत है, मीन्स एंड पॉइंट क्या है उस कर्म का? That should be very clear in my mind. What is the end point of this karma? Who is the object of the karma? That should be clear. Then the karma, according to my nature, my capabilities, my capacities, my swabhav, my varnashram, whatever you want to understand, your swadharma, the minute there is now karma, what are you offering in that karma? Can anybody tell me? In fact, I'm sure some of you have examples already. Because that will, you have clinched it. If I give you the example, it will be added information. But if you think it, you will clinch it. And it will never leave you after that. आप क्या आहुति देते हो?
When you chant Deepti, and if you chant with just the feeling that I don't want to food, I'm chanting for just giving me happiness and to remember you.
Right.
That is, in my view, an offering to Lord. So that's what I do.
Right. Correct.
Giji, I thought that even every thought, for example, someone told me that even if you, let's say, remember God and you say that, I thought that this was very nice when he told me this. He said that आप भगवान को याद कीजिए एंड भगवान को बोलिए कि देखिए मैं आपको याद कर रही हूँ और अब आपका काम है मुझे याद करवाना, मैं आपको ना भूलूं. And I thought that even this thought, because you're not doing it with any specific motive, but just to strengthen your love or just to build that connection. That's it, and that's the only thing. Nishkam, jaise aap bata rahe the. So I think that also can be.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Even this
correct.
class can be. This class can also be one.
Correct. That is also true. Kartapan is also one of them. Correct. Agreed. What else?
हम अपने कर्म को ही ऑफर करते हैं.
हाँ, you can offer your own karma. Correct. Go on, seeing how much is the scope of this. और कहाँ आके it will narrow down. What is it that is binding you to action?
So, Ditiji, can we say that everything, right from thought to a small action to a bigger action done for Bhagwan or for a larger good at the home, in the society, at the workplace, if it's just something done for a cause larger than just selfish gain, in that sense, everything becomes, it adds up to being a yajna.
Yes, but larger cause must have Ishvara in it. That I keep pointing out again and again. If your larger cause is just an unselfish work, it will fall into Smriti, it will give you Punyam. And indirectly, some little Chitta Shuddhi. But for it to become a complete Karam Yoga, for it to give you the entire benefit of Karam Yoga as Karam Yoga to be qualified, your larger cause has to be associated with Ishvara in your mind. So yes, doing things out of comfort zone to achieve an outcome can be potentially qualified as a sacrifice. Sacrifice of what then? The point is, if you do a karma out of your comfort zone, can be potentially qualified as a sacrifice of what? I want to that be specific.
Anything done for lok kalyan can be karm yog, even if it's not specifically. अगर आप उस टाइम ईश्वर को नहीं याद कर रहे, पर आपको पता है कि ये मैं लोक कल्याण के लिए कोई काम हो रहा है.
हमने अभी बोला ना, लोक कल्याण के लिए सिर्फ there are two thoughts, two schools within the understanding of Karam Yoga. One set of institutional learning is where Karam Yoga is replaced with higher ideals and higher causes. This is popular in the world, has been popularized in the later times, that you just replace Karam Yoga with a higher ideal. So you, instead of working for yourself, you work for a company. And if you work for a company's interest, this is also Karam Yoga. There is another set of thinking of another, means there is two different understandings. In the other understanding, working for a higher company, a company as a higher goal, must also be added with Ishvara in it. If you don't add Ishvara there, then your working for a company as a higher end will give you punyam, will give you some little whatever as a byproduct, maybe, because it won't always be that you are desireful. So it will have, may have an ingredient of chitta shuddhi. But if you have Ishvara associated in that karma, it will completely give you chitta shuddhi. And punyam will be byproduct. Is that clear, Akanksha?
Hanji, absolutely.
So, yes, Vedika, you have asked, I want specifically to know what is it that you will doing things out of comfort zone. Anybody can answer also. If you're doing something out of your comfort zone, that can be potentially qualified as a sacrifice. I'm asking, how will you call it as a sacrifice? What is the ahuti there? I don't think it's so difficult.
Your
You
time,
give up your
your
rag
effort,
You give
your
up your rag
energy.
You give up your rag You say that it's not an activity I don't like. I just need to be neutral about it.
Absolutely. Out of your comfort zone. What keeps you within comfort zone? Okay, correct. Capacity. What keeps you in your just your ragdvesh? Is it only your ragdvesh? Is also there. I'm not saying no. There will be different things that catch us.
Desire keep you capacity. Your desires will keep you in your comfort zone because it is your desire to achieve more and therefore you feel कि मैं अपने comfort zone में ज़्यादा achieve कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ. So
It
that
could
is
be
what
the other
keeps
way
you
around also, that your comfort zone, you have drawn a limit because you don't want to do more. It prevents you from doing more. So it can be the other way around also. Megha, you were saying something? Someone said something also along with Akanksha. Tamas, excellent. Your tamas first. If you've understood this, you've understood what is yajna. What keeps you in your comfort zone? I'm comfortable within this. What are the reason? Your reason you will find out. Everybody will not have the same reason. I may have a reason to stay in my comfort zone. For what reason is the question? If your reason is tamas, then offering that tamas in the fire of action, that will make it a yajna because you offered tamas. Supposing raga dvesh is your reason to remain in your comfort zone, offering that like and dislike will become the reason for your yajna. So, what is, if it's, I'm not, uh, whatever is your reason to remain in that comfort zone, when you are understanding that reason, first you have to identify the reason. Having identified the reason, you take the plan, you take that effort, you put that tamas in the fire of initiating your action. Yes, it becomes a yajna. Anything else anybody wants to add to it? Because
So your time, your effort, your energy, all that is part of that, isn't it?
yes, over there there'll be so many side um, inhibitive thoughts, countering thoughts. what is keeping you in a comfort zone? So many people, um, different reasons, I won't elaborate them. So means it is a thing of identifying and offering it because you see yourself bound to it. That's the point. Yes, that is also one way to do it. Yes, kartritva buddhi. If that kartritva buddhi is the factor which is bondage, then I offer my kartritva buddhi in the action, doing what I have to do. Correct. Okay, so I think it gives.
But there's a very fine line, Diptiji, between this, because when you sometimes do sacrifice, you also get ahankar with it.
Yes. That is why
There's a very fine line.
That is why imagine, always go back. Karma yoga is buddhi yoga. The minute you do not, uh, the minute you uh, start developing that, there is a notion that I can have egoism along with it. If that comes up, now I have to offer that. So, what is necessary for you to remain motivated in this? What is the end point? Higher the point of your, the end point, higher it is, greater will be the Sharir Yatra pursuit. Coming back to the example, supposing your higher ideal is for the benefit of the company and not for my sake, which is a starting point, which is wonderful to practice initially. You know, if you say, okay, I work for my family, or I work for a company, or I work with, which is what we start off with, out of your own boundary, you expand your boundary of interest. You accommodate other people in your interest. You work for others, not just for yourself, etc. So then,
Is the first step you move beyond yourself.
that is the first step. Now, what is the highest step?
When you give it to Ishvara and you ask for Chitta Shuddhi.
So, if your mind is united to Ishvara and your actions are all offered there, my ragadvesh is offered in that fire, my ahankar is offered in that fire, whatever is the point of my samsar at that point, whatever is binding me, I recognize it. That gets offered. Bhagwan says that is your method by which your desires, whatever they were in the passing, everyone has desires, whatever desires you've had, I will fulfill them. Means this is a technique with which they will also get fulfilled. So, one thing is to pursue the desire and go after it, and you may or may not get it, etc., which is all what the world does. That is the cause of bondage. The other thing is you put the effort of karma as an oblation, as an offering. To higher, I'm accommodating because that's your starting point. But Karam Yoga really fits in only if it comes to the highest point. Then every desire will get fulfilled, whatever you may have had, keeping in mind that Karam Yogi is doing karmas that are Shastra Upadishtam. Means your karmas are bound to be dharmic. You're not going to do nishiddha karmas. So, karmas that you ought to be doing, in that, it's a fascinating process of purification, inner purification. And also, why Karam yogis are so cheerful and delightful and just purely happy people. Why? because there is no denial. How much joy there is in having a desire fulfilled by its own self, as if you gave up the desire, but your desire got fulfilled. Is that more enjoyable? Or you pursued a desire and your desire got fulfilled? Which is more enjoyable?
That is the ultimate when it gets fulfilled on its own.
भगवान says ये capacity मैंने सबको दे के रखी है. There's no exception. How much you tap it, how much you use it, how much you are able to uh, utilize it, encash it. How much encash is perhaps a wrong word. Capitalize it. How much will you understand the value? That's, I think, what I would say. How much do you understand the value of this and are able to then center around it? Okay.
But then, is it necessary to do daily type, like as we invoke the fire, a daily type of yagna, or is it only in the Karam Yog form?
Uh, the daily type of physical karma.
Like you,
Physical. That's what I perhaps, I mean, you perhaps mean, right?
yes,
Huh.
yes.
So, physical karmas, according to the Vedas, is, how do I put this? Is actually a way to grasp how you can do it mentally.
Mentally. Okay.
It is to give you the habit of understanding and recognizing how you can do it mentally. When you can do it mentally, you are free of physical. But if you say, I will start with mental, then you perhaps will not be able to do it because you've not identified what is that. In the physical thing, it's very evident, it's sensory. So you can, it's tangible. So it's more approachable, it's easier. But once that habit has got formed of Arpan Buddhi, thereafterwards, physical is, you're freed of it. Your mind does it automatically, that Arpan Buddhi, because where very soon we are coming, all these questions are going to get answered till the 4th chapter. Where are all these Bhagwans, deities centered on? Where are they placed?
In mind.
In your mind. If anybody remembers, we in Tattva Bodha we saw this. I'll just introduce now and I'll end the class. We'll take it up again. I think we won't have a class tomorrow. I'm not too up to it. Maybe next week when we can. I'm very sorry. I just the I'll just where are all the devatas in the Adhishtan? If anybody remembers the Tattvabodh that we did, or those who have done at least. Can you see the slide? Huh. Of the Indriyas, each devta is already here, centered here in the body. Shrotrasya diktevata, tvacha vayu, chakshu suryah, rasana varunah, granasya ashwinau. And karmendriyas also, there were here. Vacho devata vahnihi, हस्तयोः इन्द्रः, पादयोः विष्णुः, पायोः मृत्युः, उपस्थस्य प्रजापतिः. So when one cannot identify here on the body, in the body, on the body, then it is first placed outside because that's where our attention is. And from the higher standpoint of knowledge, means from actual standpoint of knowledge, as I started the class also by saying, the body is anyway coexistent with the world. There is no division. We see a division between myself, my body, and the world. So while I see a division and I don't see deities. In my Jiva Buddhi, I only identify my Ragadvesh, my Ahankar, myself. Then these devtas are seen outside because my Indriyas are seeing the world outside. So the elements and their Adhishthana Devata, Prakriti and its Adhishthana Devata, is posited outside because you find, but the same things are over here also. So when the yajnas are getting done, as we move on, you will realize that all these yajnas would mean centered on the body ultimately, and then mentally they are all possible. And after that, any action can be karma. Now supposing this, somebody said the class can be, I think Divya, you said it.
Yes,
How?
even studying and trying to understand this knowledge is equal to praying only, because you are, at least as Krishna said, thoda effort to lagao, I am there to support you.
Right.
So that is why I feel that this is also an offering that you can give, that you put in your best, trying to
Absolutely.
understand.
Absolutely. You will realize there are so many opportunities as an offering. You know, Swami Chinmayananji, in the fourth chapter, this is going to come from where Swami Chinmayananji made this popular and society picked it up like fire. Jnana Yajna. What are these classes? What were the when he used to conduct yajnas in the public? Everybody now understands it only as a yajna. What is a jnana yajna? What is this in the class? It's supposed to be a jnana yajna. How is it a jnana yajna? It is a jnana yajna for the shrota and for the vakta, both. We'll take it up in the next class. I'm sure you have all understood and figured out. Anybody wants to say it quickly? Otherwise, we'll end the class.
Yes, this is such a beautiful example, because both the Vakta and the Shrota are giving in their effort, their time, their energy. The Vakta is providing their insights, and the Shrota should ideally, in return for the learning, also provide some of his or her resources as a dakshina, and so both are giving something of value, and for Ishvara.
Yeah. Yes. And also here, Agyan is the fire lit in the yajna. In the yajna, Jnana yajna, Agyan is the fire lit. The knowledge is the fire as the Vakta, when they say they are putting in their best as the offering. The transaction is supposed to be Ishvara Srishti, Ishvara Prasad. Everything is anyway for the Vakta is Ishvara. The receiver knows that Agyanam is where the Ahuti is being placed to light up the fire of knowledge. So when he hears it, the invoking is the fire. In the fourth chapter, this yajna is going to be explained in a lot of details. But here, just to give an example to understand yajna as a concept and how it is karam yog. It's another word for karam yog. And Bhagwan says, I have given that capacity to everybody. Srishti mein maine dal diya hai wo. So nobody can say, I don't know how to do it. He says, I'm giving you the knowledge, the capacity I have already given you. You can abide in it. Okay? We'll end the class here. Neetuji?
Yes, Nitiji. Sarvesham swastirbhavatu, Sarvesham shantirbhavatu, Sarvesham पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोकरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः Get well soon, Dipti.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry.
Thank you so
I
much.
Recording has stopped.
wanted to.
दीप्ति जी थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you.
विश यू गॉड स्पीड रिकवरी भगवान करे आप जल्दी जल्दी ठीक